I'm Drake. Welcome to Working Dragon Mystic, where we discuss real, metaphysical, and occult knowledge so that you can manifest real and tangible results in your life. This week, we're going to continue our series on the Goatia with the 41st spirit of the Goatia, Focalor. All right. This is one that I know a lot of you have really been looking forward to. I've got a lot of posts on. He is actually one that is quite loved by a lot of people. Some people may find that weird, but I can understand it from certain points of view. And of course, we all as individuals have our preferences one way or the other. That just is simple in life, right? Before we do get started, if you like this kind of information, give us a like, hit the subscribe button, make sure you turn on notifications. Also, in the links below, you'll see a link to the Working Dragon Mystic community. It is a community of like-minded individuals who are studying magic, sharing information, helping one another to grow in their path of self-mastery and self-empowerment. You can also, it's absolutely free to come on over there and join us. There is a section for supporters only if you wish to support us, where you can get perks like monthly spell workings, um, free giveaways, access to some of our online classes at the online school are now added in as part of the perks for supporters. So you can get access to those as well, all for one low monthly fee. Um, and more perks to come. We got a lot of group projects and stuff, workshops that happen over there all the time. So consider hopping over there if you're really interested in taking your practice to the next level or finding a fun, respectful community. All right. Now with that, let's get started on this. All right. Focalor is the 41st spirit of the Goetia, as we said. Now, in the original Goetia, the translation, his appearance is translated to say, appeareth in form of a man with griffin wings. I'll be honest, this is one of the ones that I always found an interesting text because most of the time when you look up griffins, they just have eagle wings or bird wings, not, so it's not like a specific styling of wing that is attributed to specifically griffins most of the time. Um, I've always wondered about that. But that being said, when I've worked with folklore, there's definitely a wing thing happening. And most of the time it is a bird wing like thing that I see. Occasionally the wing isn't necessarily avian and feathered, but most of the time it definitely follows that feathered wing look. I've had a few magicians wonder if this is actually why we started giving angels the appearance we do, because if you read their historically accurate form, there's nothing human about them. So that's an interesting thought process. But that's all that would be as a thought process. We got nothing to prove that one way or the other. And I would say the wings are usually white to tans into a deeper brown. Those are usually what I see, and that seems to be what a lot of other magicians are seeing that I've talked to as well. All right. Now, the most common associations with folklore that we see is his rank in the Goetia is a duke. Metal most often associated with him is copper. The planet most often associated is Venus. The color most associated is green. And the element most associated with him seems to be water. So pretty cool on those if you want my opinion. Next, the areas that folklore can help in, right? Anytime we're working with a spirit, 9 times out of 10, the first time you reach out to them, it's because something in their repertoire is something that is affecting your life or could help your life. In most cases, not all cases, but most cases. So, in the original Goetia, his purpose is stated like this, or some variant of this usually. He will slay the magician's enemies and protect the magician if the magician commands it. So some variation or translation of that statement is generally what's in the original Goetia. That one, unlike some of these, that's a little harder to figure out. That one seems pretty straightforward to me in most cases. That being said, let's expand upon that thought process and exactly what that may mean, right? And honestly, the most common, reliable things I've spoken with magicians on and gotten feedback and everything, and things I've worked with will be as follows. So, first off, drain the power of harmful or baneful magic directed at you. That's pretty straightforward. If anyone is producing harmful magic or baneful magic and directing it at you, this spirit of the Goetia can absolutely drain that to the point of just stopping it, essentially. If any of it has gotten through, nothing else will get through. They'll drain off the rest of the source and everything, and it'll never get to you, which is pretty freaking handy, which ties into that protecting the magician concept. And that's always good to have. It's always good to have an ally in your corner that can help with things like that. The next one that a lot of people talk about is causing the failure of a business, causing a business to fail. Some people don't really get this or understand this, right? Well, on one hand, you can have a business competitor that is dirty, rotten, crooked, and everything else, and you could utilize this entity to just shut their business down and take them under. That's one way. That being said, yes, there are definitely less than moral ways to use this. You could actually destroy a good person's business just to make them suffer because I don't know, whatever your motivation might be. There's a lot of ways that that could be applied. That being said, I've never used this one particularly myself, but the magicians I've spoken with on this one, they do seem to say that Focalor does seem to have appear to them to have some kind of a moral compass because this particular feature doesn't seem to work if you're doing it just for funsies or spite or something. It seems to work best if there's an actual genuine reason to shut that business down. Again, I've never personally used this one, so I can't say one way or the other. I can only go with the feedback from the colleagues and magicians I've spoken to. Okay. All right. The next one is cause a named individual to be consumed with crippling self-doubt. Okay. That one, some people's like, some people understand this one, some don't. But if you can actually shut a person down, take their confidence, take their drive, their motivation away with crippling self-doubt, have them doubting everything they do to the point they do nothing, that is a great way to take an enemy, an opponent, or something off the board. I'm not going to say that it's a safe, efficient way to take them off the board because when someone sinks into that level of self-doubt, they're going to definitely run the risk of sinking into a form of depression or despair that may cause them to take actions that they can't undo. And so be cautious and be mindful if you do use this, right? I have used this one and I've used it to only a certain extent. I was very specific on how far I wanted it to go. And I was also very specific that once a certain time frame was done, immediately they would refine their confidence. That's just how I handled it because I wanted to do my best to avoid any of the bad side effects thereof. Okay. Next on the list, we got keep a person sick longer or make them unable to get better. Essentially, you prolong an illness to someone or prevent them from getting better altogether. Again, this comes down to, for whatever reason, might motivate the magician. This particular video is not an ethical discussion of any kind. I myself, I'm not one, this ain't one I've used. I have not used this. Um, it's just not one I would use. I'm usually one who I'd rather see someone healthy, and I prefer my opponents, if I have an opponent, I prefer them healthy. It's just something in my mentality or personality, however you want to say it. So I've not used this one. That being said, I do know of several magicians who've used it and had some pretty handy luck with this and effects with it. Um, they did say that it does appear to work best if they're already ill and they have some magicians have tried to do it to actually get the person sick and keep them sick, and they've had less than reliable results with that, but it has worked sometime. So there does seem to be it works best if they're already sick kind of situation. Again, haven't used it, so I can't say beyond that. And finally, the final one is cause one to pass away and appear sudden or accidental. So essentially, this is basically removing someone from the world, if you would. Again, this has so many ethical conversations and all that. I do not know of anyone who actually willingly will admit to doing this for obviously ethical reasons. I can say I've never used it. That much I do know. I don't know. I don't know. Though that's one of those. This could be, so we don't know if it's fiction or not, but this is definitely one of the things you kind of got to put in a video like this when the very first thing in the Goetia he's known for is this exact kind of thing, right? So, what are you going to do? All right, let's go ahead and get the sigil up here so we can show that. I'll make sure that's right here on the screen. Pretty straightforward. Well, actually, this one's a bit more of a scribbly sigil. This one's hard to hand draw. This is one that I always do print out or find somewhere or even trace it for me personally. All right, so my experiences with this spirit. Honestly, like I said, my biggest area where I work with this spirit is that draining of the harmful or baneful magics directed at me. Him and I has done a lot of work together in those areas for protections and stuff like that. Um, it's been a lot of fun. It's been very useful. It's been handy. It's been effective, very effective. Um, but I've also tinkered with it and tried to see if you could apply this to someone other than yourself. Like, could you get this protection to someone outside yourself? In truth, I've actually had some pretty good results with that. The one caveat that I've seen to run into is when you're utilizing it, if you're utilizing it to protect somebody who's done something that to wrong an individual, and the only reason they're doing what they're doing is a retaliation for what they did wrong first, it doesn't seem to work so well. It seems to lessen the impacts of the magics coming in, but it doesn't seem to nullify them entirely. Which I have to admit that does point to a moral compass of this spirit, perhaps. Like I said, in that other one, there's plenty of individuals who's utilized this and or another one of these things like the crippling self-doubt or the failure of a business and stuff like that, that they've had responses that seem to suggest that, there does have to be a reason for it. Now, you can call it moral or whatever. I mean, there's so many philosophical ways to debate that. And then you got people who say, no, you don't need a reason, you do so whatever, right? Okay, fine. But from my personal experience on this, that's not necessarily the case with that particular thing, and using it to protect someone else. So that's something I've found interesting. Your mileage may vary, of course, and that's fine. Um, Obviously, we can't prove anything in magic is real. It could be self-hypnosis. I personally think it's real. I've got some amazing results to not believe it's real. But hey, we got to work within the boundaries we have. And that was super weird. My voice was actually echoing off the rim of my cup there. Um, Hope the camera didn't pick it up. That sounded weird. Um, like I said, I haven't tried to attack a person's business per se. The self-doubt I've used, I've had some pretty good results with that. It definitely seemed to drop the amount of motivation. I'll be honest, the other spirits that just remove motivation are usually the ones I go to most. Or I like to throw obstacles in front of a person. Again, that's my personality. I'm not really good about just tearing a person down. I'm just not, unless they truly deserve it, and then I don't really have any qualms with that. But so yeah, that's one I've used, I've had success with, but it's been varying on me. The keep sick longer, haven't used that one. And of course the final one we did not use. So my experience with this entity has been somewhat limited just because the areas that he often works in aren't ways that I generally think about solving or resolving an issue. I'm kind of in your face up front kind of person, most of the time. So yeah, this one's not one. However, like I said, on that whole protective of harmful and baneful magics, that is one I do enjoy and have worked with quite a bit. So give that one a try for sure. I've had a lot of good successes with that in the past. All right. That about wraps it up, everybody. I hope you have a fantastic week. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more content, again, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We do live streams every Sunday where I get on there live. We talk about a few topics, some community updates, and you can ask me questions. I'll do my best to answer them live there. Or you can join our Working Dragon Mystic community. Again, the link will be below. We have live chat where we discuss things openly in the community. We can discuss things there we can't discuss on YouTube. And we'd encourage you to sign up for the community and join us. Just be sure to follow the rules and keep it respectful. Okay. And if you wish to support us, that's also where you'd go to sign up and support us and get your supporter perks and help us to be able to keep doing the things we're doing and hopefully do more. If you're interested in dragon magic or anything like that, we also have a Dragon Magic 101 course, again, that can be found at the link below at the community. We're putting everything, the school and everything, on one location now. So there you go. Pretty awesome. All right. Until next time, everybody, I'm Drake. This has been Working Dragon Mystic. Take care. Bye-bye.